As long as I'm president, we will always protect women's sports. Men will not play in women's sports.
And the crowd went wild. President Trump, who banned by executive order boys and men stealing the trophies and the wins and the scholarships of women and girls in athletic events. But the Democrat Party, they're hell-bent on keeping that going. Hell-bent, I tell you, for leather. Are they hell-bent for leather? They're definitely hell-bent for leather. Why leather? Yeah, they just like leather. And they like being hell-bent as well. Well, very good Tuesday to you, and welcome back once again. It's true, I was not here yesterday. I was out yesterday. It was a long and convoluted story because of a meeting. I had a meeting, and I couldn't do both things at once. Perhaps interestingly and perhaps not, I'm not really at liberty to explain why I was not here yesterday, but perhaps at some point I will be able to explain all of that. But welcome to our humble radio broadcast, the Chris Plant Show. It's a simple name, but it is explanatory. We remain at 888-630-9625. That is our telephone number here. And also in this hour, a little bit later on, I'm going to have on a guest. I don't do guests, you know that I don't do guests, right? But today, our good friends at the Media Research Center, the MRC, Brent Bozell's great media watchdog organization. MRC do so much good work, so much great stuff that they're giving out their annual awards today. The Bulldog Award for tenacious journalists and media figures. And today, we're going to announce today, right here on our radio broadcast, the winners of this year's Bulldog Awards because they did legitimate journalism and told the truth. Imagine that, telling the truth. That's something in all too short supply in today's world because of why, Michael? Democrats is the correct answer. That is the fact. And I have the names for you. I have the award winners in front of you. I'm gonna sit on that for just a few minutes, because I have the great people from the Media Research Center joining the show today to lay it out and announce the award winners of the Bulldog Awards. And I think that you'll be happy, pleased, impressed even with the great names receiving the Bulldog Award this year. I was honored and privileged to have received a Bulldog Award 2 years ago now, 2023, right? 20 is when I won the Bulldog Award from the Media Research Center. Wonderful stuff. And I look forward to getting that because it's good stuff. And God bless the Media Research Center and Brent Bozell and his entire family, working hard for America to be on the side of the good guys, not like the Democrats, but normal people. So we've got that coming. And I've got to say, we just played the soundbite of President Trump saying that he signed a bill and the cheers because there are women there, women athletes there. But the Democrats continue to defy, that's the word being used, continue to defy the president, and they have boys and men competing against girls and women and stealing everything that the young women have worked so hard for. Young athletes, women. Title IX, the Democrats used to be all about Title IX. They threw a Molotov cocktail into Title IX's kitchen, and they burned Title IX to the ground, just like the firebombing of Governor Josh Shapiro's house during Passover in Pennsylvania, because he's too pro-Israel. So, and the Democrats firebombing more. The anti-Israel Democrats firebombing in Washington State at the University of Washington, and dozens of arrests and lots of violence and attacking the police and calling for the murder of all the police because they hate the Jews. And in New York at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, they have an annual gala And there was more anti-Semitic violence there in New York last night. But let's get back to stealing trophies from girls. Because in the state of Maine, where people that call themselves liberals but aren't, they insist that women must lose in sporting competitions, athletic competitions, to men and boys who will beat them every time. And the people at Outkick have the story. Another male wins girls' event in Maine. Democrat, liberal, left-wing, Trump-hating, lunatic, gender dysphoric governor there. Another male wins girls' event in Maine as state is being sued by federal government. Federal government's in the middle of suing him, and they're like, screw that, it's not our money. Get the dude in here. Get the dude. Doesn't even look like a lady. But get the dudes in here because we want the dudes to steal all the trophies from the girls and the women. Now, the state of Maine continues to defy President Donald Trump's executive order that bans males, whether they identify as girls and women or not, from competing in female sports. And in the state, males continue to win girls' competitions. On Friday, I wasn't here yesterday, on Monday. On Friday, Soren Stark Chessa won both the 800 meter and the 1600 meter races at an event in Hiram, Maine, finishing the latter nearly 20 seconds ahead of the next closest competitor, who was an actual female. The 800 meter race was much closer, with Lila Connor falling short of her male competitor by 1.5 seconds. In video of that race, Connor is seen shaking her head after coming in second to a male athlete racing against girls. And young Ms. Connor, she's running, and boy, she was way ahead of all the other girls in the race. She was the hands-down winner. She killed it. She'd be breaking records. Except there's a frou-frou dude with a series of mental illnesses running way ahead of her. And she's competing and catching up. And this thing, there's video of the event that is quite amazing to watch. And who is this? Beth Bourne. Beth Bourne tweeted it out. Insanity, she writes. Yesterday, a trans-identified boy, Soren Stark Chessa, racing for North Yarmouth Academy / Maine Coast Waldorf High School, won first place in the girls' 800 meter and the girls' 1600 meter. And she writes, watch the expression on the face of the first place girl, Lila Connor. It was just amazing to watch. And I watched the video. I watched it twice. And had Stark Chessa, the tranny, the dude, competed in the boys category, which would have been the correct category since Stark Chessa is male, the athlete would have finished in 12th place in the 1600 meter race and in 8th place in the 800 meter race. Now, the dude does not look like a lady, running, pretending to be a girl, and the Democrats there say, screw the girls. And, interpret that as you will. As Outkick's Amber Harding previously reported, this is not the first time Stark Chessa has won the girls' events. In fact, the male athlete is a Maine state champion, the state champion of Maine. Every Democrat, I'm convinced now, is mentally ill. I think if you say, no, this is good because he's a woman, then you are mentally ill. You need help, and you should be disqualified from everything and anything. Just amazing stuff. Now, the runner-up won the 800 meter at the Maine Principals Association Class C Girls Outdoor Track and Field State Championship as a sophomore in June. As a freshman in 22-23, though Stark Chessa competed on the boys' teams, you see, because when the boy competed on the boys' team, he comes in 12th and the girls win. But because the Democratic Party, from Joe Biden on down, they're cheaters, they're thieves, they're liars, scoundrels. They have mental issues that have to do with biology and science and culture and what everyone has known. I mean, thanks to the patriarchy, white guys in the United States of America, we mapped the genome. We can, take a scraping from a fingernail and determine that you're a male, okay, because you're welcome. The patriarchy is here to save the world. But the Democrat Party is here to dismantle biology, sociology, all science, and they have genetic dysphoria. They have gender dysphoria and gender mental illness. Isn't it amazing? Last month, the United States federal government filed a lawsuit against the state of Maine for continuing to allow males to compete in women's sports, but that doesn't seem to have dissuaded the state of Maine, and they're not stopping it. You see, just amazing stuff. And the lunatic lefty Democrat governor there, Janet Mills, should be removed from office for being anti-science, anti-genealogy, anti-culture, anti-woman. But maybe she doesn't know what a woman is, like Ketanji Brown Jackson on the U.S. Supreme Court, thanks to Joe Biden and the Democrats. Janet Mills, of course, Republicans voted for her, too. Every Republican should have voted against Ketanji Brown Jackson because she doesn't know what a woman is. Therefore, you're not qualified to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court. Amazing stuff. It appears that Maine and its governor, Janet Mills, a Democrat, are not interested in protecting fairness in girls' and women's sports on their own. And unfortunately, the only option left is to allow the legal system to do it for them because Democrats, boy, just amazing. And listen, in a matter of minutes after the bottom of the hour, we're going to have the Media Research Center here naming their Bulldog Award winners for the year, and I'm happy to have them on. All right, let's get back to the demented Democrats. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Cody, calling from Rapid City, South Dakota. Cody, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Chris, my man, how are you?
I'm just great, Cody. What do you know? What do you say?
Well, I was talking to your beautiful call screener. Mm-hmm. We talk about the whole transgender thing and how it's always boys going into female sports. Mm-hmm. My older brother is pretty much a super athlete, mm-hmm. and he was wrestling in high school, and there was a girl that wanted to wrestle with him, mm-hmm. and he sat up in bleachers with my mom and I, and he cried his damn eyes out, and he said, "I don't want to wrestle her. I don't want to hurt a woman." Uh-huh. And my mom kind of slapped him around and said, "Hey, if she wants to fucking act, or pardon me, I'm sorry, if he wants to act like a man, you just beat her behind, uh-huh. and you treat her like a man, and you wrestle just as tough as you can."
Uh-huh. And what happened?
Well, he dominated, obviously, because he's a man.
Uh-huh. But she wanted to wrestle on the boys' team, and your brother didn't want to do it, and your mother said, "Listen,
no.
Speaking for all of womanhood, your mother said, if this is what she wants, then make her wish come true."
That's exactly right. Like, she literally slapped him in the back of the head and say, "Hey, you're wrestling. Go wrestle. It doesn't matter who you're wrestling."
Wow.
But that's so much of the opposite because it's always boys trying to get into the girl sport.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's the last time she thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's right as well.
And I love your mother's response. I think that's great. She sounds like a great mother.
Yeah. She is. And she said, "Yep, you get in that. You get on that mat and you treat her. If she wants to act like a man, you treat her like a man."
That is wild. Yeah, but that's of course the never happens scenario. It's always dude who wants to look like a lady, stealing the trophies and the scholarships and the wins from young women, and then Democrats like Governor Janet Mills coming down on the wrong side of history, to borrow a ridiculous phrase from Barack Hussein Obama. Isn't that amazing? Cody, great story. Great story. That doesn't happen very often. I bet we could find that in the papers, too. That's good stuff. Thanks, Cody, and high five to your mother. That's great. I want to buy her a beer. She sounds great. Speaking of which, as Mother's Day approaches, I want to highlight an organization that cares very deeply about mothers, and that is Preborn. Preborn's network of clinics across the country. Preborn offers love and life and support for pregnant mothers who are feeling pressure to make the ultimate choice. Democrats call it choice. When a distressed mother comes into Preborn, she's greeted warmly, offered a free ultrasound, so that she can hear and see the precious life growing inside of her, hoping that she will choose life, and very, very often they do. This Mother's Day, you can help bring life to both the mother in need and the at-risk baby. One ultrasound costs only $28 American dollars. 5 ultrasounds are $140. Every penny goes toward loving mothers and babies. And when you become a monthly sponsor, you're going to receive pictures and stories of the lives that you helped to save. To get involved, all you have to do is dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, the keyword is baby. Or you can visit Al Gore's amazing internet. Go to preborn.com/plant. That's me, preborn.com/plant. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, good story from Cody. I like that. Maybe we should hear more stories like, but no, we shouldn't, really. So, girls and women should compete as girls and women. Boys will be boys and girls will be girls, not like the Democrats say. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. We have this awful, terrible, horrible, deep state, fake FBI agent today, too, who even MSDNC had to retract what this Trump-hating TDS lunatic said. And he was in the FBI sabotaging President Trump the first time around. Naturally, he was hired by NBC Fake News to be on MS-13 NBC. And wait till you hear what this guy is peddling and what the news media is peddling. They're probably going to win Emmys and Pulitzers for their fraud. We've got that coming up. And the great people at the Media Research Center with their annual awards, their Bulldog Awards, for doing actual journalism and telling the actual truth. We've got that coming up. And then the virulent, fascist, Nazi-like Democrats attacking Jews from coast to coast. Yeah, we got a lot of Democrat Party violence, anti-Semitism, racism, attacking the police, the usual Democrat Party leftist stuff. They are the third world. Keep that in mind. And I'll be getting to that because, well, there's great audio, and it's the truth. And the truth must come out about the Democratic Party, which isn't Democratic at all. Now, as promised, I have big news going on for you here because there are legitimate journalists and truth tellers, truth seekers in the world. I would count myself among them, truth tellers and truth seekers. And also among the truth tellers and truth seekers, the great Brent Bozell from the Media Research Center, and they run Newsbusters. Newsbusters is a great organization. They seek out and tell the truth and critique the performance of the American news media, which has never been held in lower regard, in lower esteem ever in the history of our country than they are today, and deservedly so. But that's not to say that I know we've got some MSNBC coming up after we talk to Tim Graham from Newsbusters and the Media Research Center. But I want to tell you that today, Newsbusters Media Research Center announcing their 4th annual Bulldog Award winners, and they're just great. As I mentioned, I was honored to win not last year, but year before last for a talk show host I stopped and paid homage to my award today at home. It's on display with my many other awards, my Nobel Peace Prize and the others. But let me go now. Enough from me. Let's go to Tim Graham, who is on the line. And Tim is the executive editor of Newsbusters at the Media Research Center. And Tim, got you on the line there?
Yes.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Well, we always do this the day after the Pulitzer Prizes because there's a lot of liberal windbaggery, and there certainly was yesterday.
Certainly was yesterday. They always give out it's like giving the Nobel Peace Prize to Barack Obama for being the black guy, and then he used the U.S. military to attack more countries than any president since World War II, and he's still got the Nobel Peace Prize on his wall somewhere.
Yeah, it's sort of like their award to ProPublica for doing, their work on life-saving abortions.
Did they do that on life-saving abortions?
It was about, how life of the mother exceptions are endangering women. Anything pro-life is dangerous.
Well, and the Pulitzer people, they gave Pulitzers to the people that lied to us all about Russian collusion, right? And everything they report turns out to be bourgeois, turns out to be wrong, false, and they still have these lofty prizes at home, don't they?
Yeah, and I think the thing that I always want to underline for people is no one in the last 5 years won a Pulitzer Prize for their investigations or commentary on Joe Biden and the Biden influence peddling family. Just as we found the same thing with Barack Obama. You don't win a Pulitzer Prize for investigating Barack Obama. You do get it for making stuff up about Donald Trump being a Russian agent.
Right, yeah. So the Nobel, I used to think the Nobel Peace Prize was something. Now it's a joke. And the Pulitzer Prize is less than a joke. And honestly, if you've got one at home, they've devalued the currency of the Pulitzer Prize to the point where it really is just laughable. Oh, you got a Pulitzer Prize. When I was a child growing up in a news media household, I thought, wow, Pulitzer, that's kind of a big deal. I don't think that anymore. Now, honestly, not just because I have a Bulldog Award at home, but now I look at the Bulldog Award as being a big deal. And so, Tim, you are announcing today here in the 10 a.m. hour the winners of this year's 2025 Bulldog Award winners. And I should have a drum roll for you, but I don't think I do.
I was a drummer in high school. I could try to do it on my desk, but it wouldn't sound that great. Yes, we'll start off with our Lifetime Achievement Award this year. We gave it to longtime intellectual economist Thomas Sowell, still going. Outstanding social media personality, Mr. Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Now, Thomas Sowell, the great professor and author, Thomas Sowell, thinker, and scholar Thomas Sowell, that is a wonderful Lifetime Achievement Award. And that's a really impressive win, I've got to say. And then outstanding, you have different categories. That's Lifetime Achievement for great Thomas Sowell. And Elon Musk, outstanding social media personality. Tell me about that.
Well, of course, he not only bought the platform, revolutionized Twitter, actually made it a free speech website, but
right.
Everything that he's posting and bringing attention to. Obviously, he has an absolutely massive following there. Everybody wants to get, hey, Elon, notice my study.
Right.
We're certainly running around going, hey, buddy, give us some love. And then our outstanding podcast, Megyn Kelly, not just has a great podcast, but now creating a podcast network and an AM update. So
right, wonderful. I used to go on Megyn's TV show when she was on the Fox News channel in the afternoon, and then they moved her to evenings, and I would go on her TV show in the evenings as well. And I've got to say, my best girl, when we're in the car, she listens to Megyn Kelly's podcast. And she's smart and crisp and happy and wonderful. And I've always liked Megyn Kelly very much. And that's wonderful. Outstanding podcast, Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, I was at an event that the website Semaphore hosted a few weeks ago, and she was there and she was interviewed, and she's just she not only looks great, she's just dazzling in what she says. I mean, and she was just really impressive. We created a new award this year, just for fun, Outstanding Achievement Behind Enemy Lines. And, of course, if you create that award, you got to be thinking of Scott Jennings at CNN.
And Scott Jennings, we use him frequently here on his sound bites frequently on the radio show because he is, the conservative that goes on CNN, I think the only one. And he is very calm, cool, collected, smooth. You don't have to watch CNN. Just listen to the radio show and you'll hear him. But you're right. He's a truth teller, and he's great. The way that he just slaps them back like they're children, right?
Well, but I think he really sticks to the facts. He doesn't say what we might want to say was like, shut up, you idiot. You're making no sense whatsoever. Right. He actually just throws it back at them and says, I don't understand what it is you're trying to say right now. And, of course, then Abby Phillip, who's the host of Newsnight, will often, with the conservatives, try to shut them down and say, now, Scott, like he is saying something out of line when he's not.
Well, that's right. Yeah, and he's clear. And you're right, being calm and smooth and clear-eyed while you're telling the truth. I see Michael Piercy's making a face at me across the console. So hang on just one sec, Tim.
Democrats are the party of uncommon nonsense. Republicans are the party of common sense.
And that's just the kind of thing he drops in on CNN all the time. Wonderful. That is great. Scott Jennings is a great choice.
I mean, that's a great quote. That actually sounds like Chris Plant.
It did sound a little.
Democrats love death.
Yeah, well, boy, they do, don't they? They're all about death and mayhem and firebombing and then really rail spurs and death camps are coming soon from the Democrats. And then, who else? So there are a total of 8 awards, and I apologize for interrupting, but Scott Jennings for operating behind enemy lines, Megyn Kelly for podcast, Elon Musk for social media, and Thomas Sowell for Lifetime Achievement Award. Great lineup.
Outstanding columnist Kimberly Strassel for her columns at Fridays at the Wall Street Journal.
Yep.
Must read.
Yep.
Potomac Watch, I guess, is the name of the column.
Yeah.
So it was fun. She was very funny last year, the way she was writing about Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and she is great. Again, smart, great writer, fearless, and she's great on television as well. She's very, very clear. And once again, calm, cool, and collected. That's key to getting your message across.
Yeah, I can't always achieve that.
Me too. You may have noticed. Me too. Yeah.
Especially if we're talking about PBS or NPR, I'm going to kind of come a little unglued. What do you mean there's no bias?
Right. And we only get 1% of our funding from the taxpayer. Okay, well then you won't miss it.
It's such a lie.
Such a lie. Yeah, $500 million is how many taxpayer dollars Corporation for Public Broadcasting gets. So if that's 1%, what does that make their annual budget like? Bigger than the military. That's just amazing.
Yeah, they play this game because CPB sends the money to the NPR stations. The NPR stations send it back, and then they say, "Oh, we only get 1% from the federal government."
Right. It's a shell game they play. It's a lie. That's a fact. Tim Graham, there are a couple more winners of this year's the 2025 Media Research Center Bulldog Awards. And who do we have?
Outstanding radio talk show host this year is Eric Erickson, who's on from Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, Eric was still a columnist and was an analyst on CNN, before Scott Jennings and then on Fox News. So that's a great show.
He was. I guess I can't win every year.
Right, exactly.
Well,
I rotated around.
I could, but that would be wrong. Even I know that would be wrong.
And then one of the things that's fun to give it to the younger conservative journalists who are out there, outstanding investigative journalist, Mr. Gabe Kaminsky, who is at the Washington Examiner for a long time, and he's just now joined the Free Press website.
Very good, very good. And Free Press doing wonderful stuff. Gabe Kaminsky, that is great. And you're right. You want to, that's, the people coming into the pipeline who are rising in the industry and in the world. Very good. Gabe Kaminsky, for that is just wonderful, outstanding. Investigative journalists. And, he's not going to, the Pulitzer, they weren't looking at him.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, and this is, the Pulitzers are basically saying that journalism equals liberalism. I mean, that, just like they think democracy equals Democrats winning elections.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Otherwise, it's a threat to democracy. Democracy itself is under threat, not just here, but everywhere in the world. If the Democrat Party doesn't win and take your boys' genitalia away as they have men racing against women, as they're funding Iran and Hamas and opening the borders to the Sinaloa cartel and on and on. And that's wonderful. Good for Gabe Kaminsky. Congratulations to Gabe Kaminsky. And
then outstanding blogger is Spencer Lindquist at the Daily Wire, who did this whole series on this Colony Ridge, Texas, this plot of land where the thousands of illegal immigrants are believed to have settled. So that's a story. Again, you're never going to win a Pulitzer writing about illegal immigrants unless it's a puff piece.
Right. If, the best thing for everyone is illegal alien gang members flooding your daughter's school. If you can do that story, then you'll win a prize.
Abrego Garcia forever.
Honestly, yeah. They're going to run him for office, I think, before we're done. Amazing stuff. All right, Tim Graham, executive editor, Newsbusters at the Great Media Research Center, with this year's very important, and they are very important, the Bulldog Award, not just because I have one proudly displayed at home, but because it really does matter that the people on the right side of everything recognize other people that are on the right side of everything. And it is really a great, and I mean this, a great lineup. Thomas Sowell, the great Thomas Sowell, and Elon Musk, of course, you're right, saving Twitter, saving free speech. The Democrat Party is anti-free speech now. Amazing. Megyn Kelly for her podcast. Scott Jennings being on CNN, Kimberly Strassel writing, Eric Erickson on the radio this year, Gabe Kaminsky and Spencer Lindquist. Just great. I got to say, wonderful stuff. Very happy. And Tim, I'm glad that you could come on my show, on our show, to announce the winners as well.
Our pleasure. It's wonderful to do, and there's always more people that deserve an award that we can give awards to, so we'll just have to, put them in the bucket for next year. In the bucket.
Very good stuff. All right, a great round of applause to all of this year's winner, and our thanks to you, Tim Graham, executive editor, Newsbusters, the wonderful Newsbusters. Go to their website right now. It's full of great stuff, wonderful stuff. Tim, thank you, my friend.
You betcha.
Look forward to seeing you soon. That is great. The 2025 Bulldog Awards, and really a great lineup of peoples. Wonderful stuff. Great. And I am very happy to have it among my vast collection of awards. I don't really have a vast collection of awards. I have a smattering. Plenty for me, plenty. Only some of them count. And the Bulldog Award, that's one of them. Thanks, Tim. If you've had enough of the big wireless runaround, it's time to switch to Consumer Cellular. Consumer Cellular. You get the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as the big wireless people, but without the big wireless prices and without the mega corporation shenanigans. I'm telling you, shenanigans, where they force you into an unlimited data plan that you probably don't even need. Consumer Cellular isn't a prepaid option. It's not one of those things. You pick a plan and you know exactly what your bill is going to be every month without fail. It's so easy to switch. All you have to do is call, and you'll speak to an actual human being, not an automated system, right here in the United States, not 12 time zones away, right here in the U.S., and they'll make switching your plan fast and easy while talking to a real person. And now you can get your second month for free with my special promo code Chris. That's very simple, CHRIS. Taxes and third-party fees will apply. So check out consumercellular.com/Chris. Or for more information, give them a call at 1-800-760-0702. That's 1-800-760-0702. Yes, sir. Yeah, I love the Media Research Center and Brent Bozell and Tim Graham, the whole gang over there. Wonderful. Glad to have done that. And we remain at 888-630-9625. Wait till you hear what the violent gangs of criminal Democrats are up to now, racists that they are. Bomb, 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 bomb. And I love our friends in the Media Research Center and at Newsbusters. And I have a great many stories yet to get to today, including President Trump on self-deportations for illegal aliens who Democrats want to date their daughters. I've got the CNN people sat down with a member of the Sinaloa cartel who looks like is a member of Black September at the Munich Olympics in 1972. And he more or less is, except he doesn't hate the Jews, not like the Democrats do. They behave like Black September, Munich Olympics 1972, the Democrats do. And wait till you hear what I have for you on them. In New York at the Met Gala last night, they went there to hate the Jews, and it got violent, of course. At the University of Washington in Washington State. How many arrested? Dozens arrested. Violence. And what are they chanting? What are they calling for about the police? Those are coming up.